I am bloodied, by the way.
Can't believe there's no turnout yet.
There's an orange glow of torchlight fanning in from the other window. As in a moment, you could see, or rather hear, most likely, because your attention's all diverted elsewhere. But Gila cracks the window for a moment, peers out, sees another group of villagers take up the song, shouts out, "Oh shit, they're everywhere," slams the window shut, and starts rooting around for her gun.
Yeah, no, that's completely valid.
Lietgard's going to take up position next to the door here. And he looks at Edmont and Jeannie. What are we to do?
It's them or us. They didn't ask me.
We bust through?
Tenny
That's the best plan.
begins shouting as she sees the dead boy on the ground and begins crying profusely that Denny has murdered one of her friends, leave him alone, don't kill them, etc., etc. And she's clutching the toy that they made for her, the wooden doll, to her chest. At this point, Abernethy has made his way over too. And you see that Trieste has her gun loaded and trained on the door, but she's looking down to take her cue from Jeannie and Edmont below as well. So the general consensus among you guys is that you guys are going to break through them.
Make a hole.
Yeah.
Victor and Ekon tried playing an anti-hostile thing.
I mean, it's a good thing Denny's unconscious, otherwise he would point out, hey, if we were supposed to make a hole, why would we web up the door? But he's unconscious, so he doesn't say that.
I can drop the web at any time.
Okay, so who's
He's
next?
Now we've got Evie with Edmont on deck.
Okay. So how high up is this window? Like, if I were to jump out there, how far down would I fall?
You could open the window from your position in the room, and you just have to climb up and out. So it would take 10 feet to move from inside to outside the window.
I don't know how many people are out here, though, so I don't want to go out there and fight them by myself.
You can certainly hear them from your position.
All right, I guess I'm just going to try to... Is there something I could use to, like, jam the window somehow?
No, there's not a crossbeam to pull into place, but they would have difficulty opening it from the outside.
Until they bring ladders or something.
Oh yeah, they could open it from the outside, but you don't know what sort of equipment they've got. I'll let you use your action to make a wisdom check.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I'll probably fail it, but...
Evie's not wise, she's just violent.
That's an 8.
An 8? Okay. Yeah, then there's no way to secure the window. You pull it open or leave it closed. In fact, you haven't seen locks or bars on basically anybody's door. This is such a friendly and close-knit community. Moving or staying put?
I guess I'm going to stay here. I'm going to say, Lugrin, get our stuff, grab Tenny, and get ready to get out of here.
How drunk is Lugrin on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'll let you use your action on your turn to determine that. Who's next?
We've got Edmont with Genie on deck.
Edmont, fix it.
5. Open the window.
Open up the window?
Yep.
Okay. Edmonts.
Sure.
I have a 21 to hit.
Yep.
I have a 19 to hit.
Yep.
I have a 1.
Nope.
I have a 5 to hit.
I'm going to... Yeah,
This
I'm
is
gonna
why I
reduce the
didn't
damage.
actually open the window.
Listen, this is a plan. This is an easy plan.
Part of the
Okay.
plan. No sooner do you push the window outward. The men and women outside sing some arrows into the room at you. It's going to be 9 points of piercing damage from the first arrow.
Sure.
And 7 points from the second arrow.
Yeah, the second one I'm going to use my reaction and knock down.
Okay.
Let's see, D10 plus X plus muck level. 3, 6. Yeah, need to roll a 1 or better to reduce the damage to 0 on that second hit. I did. Minimum amount of flare. 2 key points. Darkness.
Okay. I mean, are you flinging the arrow back or are you just catching it?
No, I'm dropping it.
Dropping it. Okay. And you put darkness
Yeah,
outside?
dropping it.
So
Yeah,
it's a field of
that's
darkness, and now it's heavily obscured. Nobody can see through
Yeah.
it? Gotcha.
Yeah. That's my plan. Is I just created our escape route.
Okay. So yeah, arrows zing into the room as the men were just waiting for somebody to push this window back open. And 2 of the arrows zip past you. One of them connects, and the other one you monk your way away from. And then you put a flood of darkness just outside the window. Presumably so they can no longer take aim at anybody in the room.
Yes. Trying to.
Circles are hard, I understand.
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
First you
Okay,
draw a
things
circle,
here.
then you dot the eyes.
Then you make it a happy little Kirby. Yep.
Kirby
There's
is
a good
friend
dart.
shaped.
There's a bubble, and I still got
Is
5
this
more
like-
feet of movement on.
Does the circle of darkness have like a little wart over here? I like this. This is...
Did it happen? I didn't.
We could leave
I
it.
right clicked to cancel.
There's a
but-
slightly smaller darkness nodule growing off the main darkness.
It vanished on me on my screen. so
Monks are
it's
weird.
emoji.
It's the second key point.
And then you're
Look.
climbing up and out the window?
Yeah, that was my action. I can bonus action to dash, but I'm not going to. That was 2 key points right there.
You had
Yeah, I'm good.
10 feet of movement to climb up and out the window, yes?
Oh no, I did not. I thought that was okay. Yeah, maybe okay. Yep.
Yeah, you've got to climb from this square to this square.
I only have 5 feet of movement left. So.
So yeah, I mean, Edmont has pushed open one of the windows, but guys, crane your neck back, you can just see the darkness outside. But you can also hear the song much more clearly now. Who's next?
Genie with Denny on deck.
Genie, still standing in the line of fire.
5, 10, 15. How high is this?
About 10 feet off the ground. It's a little lower than a loft would be that you'd be accustomed to because you're a little taller than these people.
Okay, so it's what I'm trying to do is I'm fixing to summon a turret,
Okay.
and I was wondering if the radius of the temp HP would hit them.
That should be on your character sheet.
It's 10 feet. I know what it is. I was asking you if
Yeah,
it was
so
high enough to do it. Yeah.
It's 10 feet tall. They're 10 feet above you. In the loft
Nice.
area. And from the looks of it, Lugrin is trying to calm Tenny down, but he's not that good at it. And she is hysteric.
Is my action and my bonus action, and everybody within 10 feet of that gets 10 temp hit points.
Is Tenny within 10 feet?
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, like I could move it to. It's got a climb speed, so I could climb up high enough to get everybody,
Okay.
and it's going to do that.
That's fine. Climb up on one of the posts.
Yeah. And that is my. And then I'm going to yell at Tinny to come down here and get into climb on one of our backs.
You can
we're
say
making
that,
a
but
run
it's
for it.
not going to make her do anything because you've used your action to do something else.
Right. That's fine.
We've got Denny with Ekon on deck.
Oh, I forgot about Denny.
Ekon,
Yeah.
you hear Denny laying next to you. He was breathing raggedly, but he stops.
Okay.
And there's just laying in a pool of blood seeping down into the fire pit.
Did you just let Danny
Ekon's gonna grab his stuff from his bags. So he's got everybody's stuff who's sleeping over there. 5, 10. Everyone get between me and the darkness, and then I'm gonna cast. So this is no more bless. I'm casting Warding Wind.
What does that do?
So Warding Wind creates a howling storm within a 10-foot radius of me. It deafens at me and any other creature within its area. It extinguishes unprotected flames. It hedges out vapor, gas, and fog. It's difficult terrain for creatures other than me, And any ranged weapon attack that enters or passes through the area is rolled at disadvantage.
Okay.
Ekon, you know that Victor's within 10 feet of you, right?
Just you can move out of the warding wind. Like just you step out of it and you're not. So your movement won't be hindered.
So this is like a radius on the inside of the long hall?
Yeah, it's a radius around me.
Okay.
It moves with
And it
him,
moves
too.
with me. Yep.
Okay, very good.
And that's all you hear until there's a howling of wind that hopefully dampens out that damn song a little bit. I've got a bonus action as well. And I already cast a non-cantrip spell. So let's, in fact, go ahead and... Lead guard, is he going to be willing if I try and psionically slide him?
Sure.
Okay. It's the end of my turn.
Okay, who's next?
Victor with Orson in deck. So yeah, as long as you just don't move towards me, you're fine for difficult terrain.
So, can you draw the square around you where this stuff is taking place?
Yeah, I'll draw these
It's
round.
just 10 feet, so just 2 squares.
Yeah, if you can count 2
That
squares.
was a radius from me. It's a 10-foot radius, so it's a 15-foot area of effect because I'm a cube.
I'm a cube.
Okay, so Victor is going to assume he hasn't seen Denny really die in the midst of all this stuff.
You can see through this whirling wind, can you not?
Oh yeah, it's just
Yeah, but he's not close enough to know Denny's actually dead. He doesn't have medicine.
Dead knee.
So Victor will ask, "Are we going out the back?"
Seems like it. Everyone aboard.
All right, so he'll use his movement to get to there, and what can he see on the other side? Just darkness.
Absolutely nothing.
Thanks.
Blob of magical darkness.
Attack the darkness.
Gotta wait till your turn.
If you stand in front of this in front of this window, from about the shoulder up, you're exposed on the other side. Is that your intent? Are we?
Well, that was my movement. I'm trying to figure out what to do for my action, my bonus action.
Gotcha.
Since I can't see where they're at, can I see any of them now?
No, it's
Okay.
magical darkness.
Okay.
You got to be a warlock to have that good warlock shizzle.
Wondering how many arrows I'll get shot by if I leave the window.
Warlocks are fun. I miss playing a warlock.
So if I understand darkness right, even if I were to exit the window and go stand right next to one of the other guys, it would still be like full cover.
Yeah, because you're blind. Not full cover, but you're blind.
Or blind, yeah, blind attack.
Full obscurement.
So how does fairy fire work with? I can't do. Never mind. I can't do that. I already used my one spell slot. Okay, so bonus action. We are going to dash for some extra movement, and then my main action is going to be to dodge.
So you just run out blindly into the darkness?
Yes, and then dodge.
So you hop through the window to the other side and dodge in what you think is standing about 10 feet away from the window.
Yes.
And who's next?
Next up, we have Orson with white pawns on deck.
Orson's gonna look down at Dead Knee and then realize he's dead in 5, 10,
Somebody
15,
renamed
20,
him Dead Knee. Oh my goodness.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And Orson is going to dash 10, 15, 20. He's going to pick Tinny up in his arms.
He's going to make a grapple check to do that.
Okay.
He's going to have to roll pretty high, too.
Does a 22 do it?
Yeah, barely. Tenny rolled a 19 to resist. So yeah, Orson picks Tenny up, but I mean, it's only for a second or two passes before she is just bludgeoning him with kicks and punches and screaming to put her down and to stop killing her friends. Is that it for Orson?
White tokens with green on deck.
Okay, so the fire advances. I'll let Treble take care of that.
Okay, let's see. 3, 5 fire damage to the. I guess it advances this square.
Yep. Any square orthogonal to the squares currently on fire, and all squares previously on fire are no longer on fire.
5 damage to these two.
Okay. I have notated that, and they're no longer stuck in the web, so they can escape.
No two squares are not on fire.
McDohl is just like a Homestar speak and say that you pull the string on it.
You're damn right. Listen, Dan has Futurama, I have Homestar Runner.
I think we all have Homestar Runner.
Don't. I haven't watched a whole lot of Homestar Runner, and at this point, I'm afraid to.
Victor. I have a 13 to hit.
That will do it.
And a 17 to hit.
That will do it.
I mean, you're standing very close to the singing people.
Who can apparently see in the dark.
No, but they can take blind shots in the dark. And roll really high at disadvantage. 3 points from the first arrow. 5 points from the second. And Edmont, you're not dodging there, correct? You're just standing there? Because you used your act. Okay. They still have to roll
reaction.
Yeah, you have a reaction. Oh, does it say a threat you can see?
No, let me read the actual wording.
Yeah, it does. I had to ask if I could see things all the time with that.
Oh, yeah, when attacker hits you with attacks, you can see.
You could not see the attack. They did roll at disadvantage, though. And they're rolling a disadvantage against Edmont. I have an 8.
Nope.
And a 1.
Also no.
So, the men in the darkness are still firing through where you think the window is. And Victor is standing almost at point-blank range.
Well, I mean, you had 10 hit points.
No, I didn't. I was out of range when you used that.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, he was. He was on the other side of the room.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it was over by the door.
It was Edmont. Yeah. Well, that's your fault for being away from the turret.
Nobody can see these guys, and... I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I have one person still in line of sight. So what benefits does the wind wall or the whirling winds?
Any ranged attack that enters or travels through it has disadvantage.
Okay, so I'm making these rolls at disadvantage.
And anyone who moves into it other than me has difficult terrain.
So first I'll try to escape the web and fail, and then we'll roll a bunch of arrows at disadvantage. I have a 13.
Yes.
Does he still have light cover? Half cover?
There's still some
Yeah,
webs
because
there,
they're
right?
shooting. They're still
Okay,
shooting
then that half cover is 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Then that hit. You're looking for 14 then.
Okay, so 13 misses, 12 misses,
Thank you, Treble.
a 4 misses, another 1 misses, and a 7 misses. You know it's not a good session when the DM rolls 2 critical fails before 2 critical hits.
You crit me with one of our party.
Right, that was the first critical hit.
That counts for
It
2.
sounds more like a fail to me. Is that the end for the white tokens?
That's the end, as they are trying to fire arrows into the room, but your wacky wind wall has protected you.
We've got all green NPCs.
Okay. So the goal is to try to get everybody bunched up and go out this window. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Hey, then Trieste is going to go back and help Donique. Abernathy moves over to here. Leagard is in difficult terrain, but he can just walk out without penalty.
Yeah, it
correct?
doesn't cost anything to leave it.
He's going to move to there and maintain his action. Tenny is grappled. She's going to try to escape the grapple. So it's going to be an opposed athletics check for Orson.
Yep.
Tenny has a 7.
That's a fail for her.
Yeah, she's trying to slip free. Lugrin moves to the top of the ladder but cannot climb down because Evie's in the way.
Can't just jump down.
Jayla hops down and is running under this loft over towards the window. Lugrin gives you this look like you've asked him to do something completely impossible.
It's Lugrin. He'd fall on his face.
All right, so we've got, is that all the green NPCs?
That's it.
Got Evie followed by Edmont.
Okay, I have all my stuff, right? Like I have it on me.
Yeah, your packs were right there. You can move around with it.
Okay.
Did
Do we have like all our food rations?
Yeah, we have everything in our
Whatever's
pack.
listed on your character sheet.
Okay.
question? Did Donique and Trias not move? Or
They
Nabrad?
did.
They did.
Yeah,
They're
All
just
right.
kind of far away.
they just require help.
Remember, Donique has to be led, and she
Yeah,
has half
yeah.
movement.
5, 10, 15. As I step out here, what do I see? Do I see or hear
You
anything
see-
coming from this?
2 of the villagers
Okay.
drawing new arrows out of their quiver. And they look at you, and as you emerge from the darkness, with broad, friendly grins, they wish you happy birthday and then return to the song. And they're turning your direction. They're going to fire at you next.
Happy birthday, and I stab him.
Okay. So you're joining in the song? Is that what's happened?
Yes. Evie says happy birthday as she rolls a 25 to hit.
That'll hit.
She does 6 points of damage.
Okay.
Still alive.
Yes.
Bonus action, I will second attack with an offhand dagger. Oh, that misses though.
They only have like 10 AC, so.
Was that a 9?
That's only a 7.
7 does not
Or,
hit.
no, it's only a 6. I only have 1 magic dagger.
So you interrupt the man's song for just a moment.
Oh, actually, I have a no, I don't. But I get to apply sneak attack because my owl's on my shoulder.
Yeah?
Oh, okay, so then I do an addition on that first hit. I do an additional 8 points of damage.
And that's enough. You end the
I
man's
won't.
song for good.
I won't kill him, but I do knock him out.
Okay. So you attempting to do the non-lethal blow?
Yeah.
And he doesn't die, but neither does he fall unconscious. He goes to his knee for a moment, and I mean, there's a pretty severe slash where your dagger struck him. And with some difficulty, he continues to gurgle out the words to the song and gets back to his feet.
Okay. So non-lethal just doesn't work on these guys. They have like a reaction that lets them keep fighting.
Moving or staying put?
I'm gonna stay here so that everyone else can kind of slip past me. Someone who can do good fighting should go first to make sure that our weak party members don't get blown up by something.
So we've got Edmont with Genie on deck.
Edmont, you're up.
5, 10. 10 feet of movement gets me there.
Correct.
20, 25.
Yeah, coming out of the darkness, you see the man standing there, knocking an arrow to his bow.
That's to knock him flat on his ass.
Okay.
$23 to hit.
That will hit. That hits an AC of villager.
7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Bonus action martial arts. 13.
13 will hit.
6 points bludgeoning damage.
And once again, I mean, you're trying to ring this man's bell, bring him to the ground, anything to get him to stop attacking your comrades. But after a flurry of blows that would have dropped even a decently sized opponent does not knock the man unconscious. He flinches for a moment. He loses his song for half a measure. Both of them are severely bloodied.
That's distressing.
The halflings
good.
keep coming and they don't stop coming. Who's next?
Next up is Genie with Deddy on deck.
We can go ahead and remove him. Genie.
R.I.P. Denny.
Genie is going to 5, 10, 15, and I'm assuming since this has a time. Okay, this has a climb speed.
Yep.
Does that mean I can without the difficult terrain?
No, because it has to climb 5 feet up the wall, then 5 feet down the other side.
Okay, so it's basically at the top of the wall here,
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
and it's going to pulse to give 8 hit points to Victor,
Yay.
and then 5, 10, 15.
So you have to
I'm
climb
gonna
up
slap-
onto the loft, so it's going to take 10 feet of movement to get up to the top of the loft.
Well, I'm no okay. So 5, so 10.
So that's 15 to get you there.
Yeah, 20.
Mhm.
I'm gonna slap Tinny. Use my action to tell her to quiet down.
Make an intimidation
They're trying to
check.
kill us. Intimidation. Ooh. That is I think that's -1, but I am going to double check. It's -2. It's a 16.
16?
Yeah.
And Tenny seems to calm a little bit. She stopped, by which I mean like she stops beating her hands against Orson's shoulders and neck. But she's bawling her eyes out. He killed him! Just killed him like it was nothing.
Well, they killed him, so let's get out of here before they do that to us.
Is that it for Genie?
And I'm going to use my last 5. Well, I got 10 feet of movement, but I'm going to move here.
Okay.
And that was my action, bonus action, and yeah, that's it.
And who's next?
Ekon. So first I'm going to have my familiar leave Victor's shoulder and fly up out of the darkness to try and get a better view of this area.
The other 2 men who were outside of the window were standing outside of the radius of the darkness with bows drawn. And you see the other group of 4 by the other window, all of them singing, all enjoying themselves. They are not in any less of a festive communal mood than you've ever seen them, except now they're armed.
What can I see from over here flying over the building?
There is a large crowd of the villagers out in front of the building, but nobody along this side of the wall.
Lux is going to descend, land on Victor's shoulder again, and kind of try and he's going to claw him slightly, because normally he just kind of hangs on, and then motion in that direction to let him know which way to go.
Okay.
Ekon will move 5, 10, 15 to put the aura where I want it. I'll move that at the end of my turn. And then for an action, hey, Genie. Go ahead and get back 6 hit points.
Okie dokie.
Not, you can't hear it over the sound of the roaring wind, but I speak a healing word to heal Genie, and then is Leet Guard going to allow me to psionically shove him?
Yeah. He's been there.
Oh wait, no, the bonus was my spell. For my action, I guess I just dodge in case something comes out with a non-ranged attack. That's the end of my turn.
So from having been in the village for a few weeks, you know that off to the side here, probably just off the map, off the map but not off the table, if that makes sense, would be one of the thoroughfares leading out of the village greens in the center, with a couple of family houses on it. And continuing in that direction, you would come to one of the farming plots. The long haul, remember, is not at the edge of the village, it's in the center.
After that, we've got Victor with Orson on deck.
Victor, fix it.
Okay.
both of the men in front of you here are severely bloodied.
Okay, so when he gets to the corner, is there anything around the corner?
If you look down that road, you can see some of the... Continuing up this road would take you to a couple of the just small family houses, and then continuing that direction, you would come to farmland. But it's dark outside. It's the middle of the night. You don't see any light in that direction. All the light is coming from behind you. No, there's not, because it's a circle of darkness. Well, yeah, there is, because there's two men with torches were right there. And then around the other side of the long hall, you can see just the barest flicker of torchlight from this direction where you know the web is burning.
Okay, so there's no torches or anybody in front of...
No, if you move much further down this road, you'll be effectively blind.
Okay. So when he gets to the corner, it's 25 feet of his movement. So 30 to go there.
Okay.
And then he is going to fling a psionic dagger at the one in front of Genie.
Sure.
Evie.
Or Evie, yeah.
I know we're twins, but we don't look that much alike.
We're like identical.
We have different hair colors.
Does a 14 hit?
Sure does.
Please enjoy. Let me double check my sneak attack damage since I leveled.
Can you do less than 1 point of damage?
No, I'll do at least like 7.
Then yeah, that man's dead.
Okay, and then offhand dagger to the other one.
Okay.
Because Victor's done. That would be a 20.
That also hits. And again, can you do less than 1 point of damage?
No.
And that's it. The singing stops as you throw your psychic knives out and snuff their lives out. And yeah, they just drop to the ground at Edmont and Evie's feet. These villagers who have been so welcoming and hospitable in the hour of your direst need.
Victor's done is his catchphrase.
Not have it anymore. They can have an aneurysm.
He gets it like tattooed across his knuckles, like D-O-N-E. Who's next?
Sorry, after Victor, we've got Orson with white pawns on deck.
So Orson is carrying Tenny.
Yes. Well, that's 10. So I guess he's just gonna go here.
Can't he
And
dash?
Yeah, he can. Oh, yeah, he can. 10, 20, 25, 30.
Okay.
And that's the end of Orson's turn.
And as you come around exiting the darkness, I mean, Tenny sees the two dead men laying on the ground, Evie and Edmont over them, and Victor, like, holding his psychic knives off to the side. Doesn't take her long to put 2 and 2 together. And she starts, or continues to cry out hysterically, and she doesn't understand why you're murdering these people.
They're trying to kill us.
Who's next?
I mean, I told her when I slapped her, I said they're trying to kill us.
So after Orson, we've got white pawn and then green pawn.
Okay.
They shot Edmund, like she could see the arrows are sticking out of Edmund.
So the fire advances, and you can burn these other guys if you want.
Yay! Okay, hold on. They take 4 plus. They take 5 points of damage,
Okay.
and that's just all of the web. The web's gone.
Okay.
But these two squares going into here are on fire. But I don't think it matters that these squares are on fire. But I'll go ahead and draw that in. But the web is essentially gone.
Okay. So the fire will be all burned out this time next turn.
Correct.
There's a burning web in the doorway itself?
Yes.
Yeah, by this time next turn it'll be
Yeah.
thing just walking.
So, but does that still provide the +2 for obscurement?
I would say probably for you guys, not for them.
Okay, cool.
Are they just gonna stand in the fire? Gotcha.
No, they're not. But they're also not going to stand in the doorway. So still have disadvantage to hit Ekon.
So you're looking for a 14 then.
No. No, there's another 1. So that's 3 ones now. And putting up your magical whirlwind does not stop them from firing into the long hall. Although it really feels to you now, especially you, Ekon, because you can see through this stuff just fine, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just wind. Unless it kicks up dust or something, there's no visual like effects.
Not a lot of dust and debris on the floor, but it's probably not done well. You know, it would have kicked up most of Denny's straw mat at this point, I imagine. But yeah, so they're kind of firing into the room, kind of almost blindly, because they can't approach you because the doorway is still on fire. But it won't be next turn. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. This guy can circle around the darkness. So Evie and Edmont, you can't see these men approaching, but you can absolutely hear them. They're only about 20 feet away.
Is it the chanting that gives them away?
They're not chanting, they're singing.
What is singing but a more formal chanting?
Do you want me to look up Webster's dictionary? Like, what are you asking me here?
So is that it for the white turns, or are they getting a chance to attack?
No, that's it.
All right. We've got Green Pawn with Evie on deck.
Okay.
Let me see, what level 1 spells do I have? Because that's all I have left.
Just need to find the right character sheet here. Okay. Ekon, Trieste calls down to you. Donique can't use the ladder while the wind is there.
I can't hear anything. This is literally a deafening wind.
Then the rest of you in the room hear her call that down, and then a moment later call down much louder. Athar, Donique can't use the ladder. We can't get her down.
He's deafened.
Yeah, but none of the rest of you are. Lugrin.
Can I use my reaction to make a cutting motion at Ekon? To tell him to cut the wind?
I'm going to have Leakard take up position in front of the window because there's nowhere for him to stand on the other side of the darkness. Jayla emerges from underneath this loft, looking down, and she calls up to Trieste. Leave her! She's lost! She'll only slow us down! And at this point, her weapon is in her hand as well. What is she equipped with? A rapier and a firearm, as I recall.
With a limited number of bullets.
Yeah, but she hasn't used any. So.
Yeah, she has everything that's on her sheet.
She's definitely prepared to use some tonight.
No infinite ammo cheat for her.
Tenny is again going to try to get herself free from Orson. So Orson,
she calmed down.
Make me a strength. Yeah, and then she came outside and saw more dead bodies at y'all's hands.
Okay, that is a 14.
14?
Mm-hmm.
That's good enough. Orson continues to hold her tightly. And that was everyone. Who's next?
Next up, we have Evie with Edmont on deck.
So, Evie, you hear the argument going on inside of the long hall.
Am I missing something that they can't just jump down here?
They can.
Donique is not capable of doing that right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can drop Donique on the other side, but they wouldn't want to hurt her.
Okay.
5, 10, 15. I can move out here, right?
Yeah, you move back behind the long hall.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm going to run up to this man and I am going to murderize him.
These are women.
Shink.
Pardon?
These are women.
Oh, okay. I'm going to murderize her.
The shunk noises of the magical dagger. The
That is a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
the mighty wood steel +1 returning
That
dagger.
is 16 damage, and I'm done dealing non-lethal. I just kill her.
Yeah, you just kill her. Just unceremoniously. That's it. No description. She's dead. Staying put there.
Yeah, I'll just hold position here.
Okay, who's next?
Got Edmont with Genie on deck.
Edmont's gonna just stand here calling out, come on, come on, come on. Dodge.
Edmund.
Yeah.
Using your action to dodge, I would also use your action to make a wisdom check.
Yeah, I'm gonna
prefer.
do that instead. Seven.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just
Key point dodge then.
standing impatiently and bonus action to dodge. Okay.
Yep.
Who's next?
Got Genie with Ekon on deck.
Genie, fix it.
Genie is going to can I if I stand here, can I catch Donique?
Possibly.
You can try with your 8th strength.
I mean, it's physically possible. That's in all the chaos and confusion right now.
All right,
It's difficult to know anything for sure.
so that's 15 feet of movement. That's half my movement. And I'm going to use my bonus action to... Lugren has 10 hit points. I'm going to go ahead and just pulse this where it is.
You sounded almost disgusted when you said that.
No, I mean, he already has 10 points. No, nothing against Lugren. He hasn't tried to throw one of us off a bridge.
Not yet.
Yeah. So, Leotgard and Jayla have 8 hit points.
Okay.
So I'm just put a +8 on there. And I am going to pull a scroll off of this the bandolier that I have, where I keep all my scrolls.
That's a little weird,
And
but
I'm
okay.
going. Where would you suggest I keep them for easy access?
Scroll pocket.
That's a good point. I'll have to make a scroll pocket later. Anyway, and I cast a grease spell.
Gross.
And I guess it douses the fire. The grease is specifically, it's not flammable. It's just there. But it's there.
They saw that one coming.
You'd think they would want something like that. That encourages creativity.
But it's there, and I'm just going to go ahead and erase this fire.
So the grease counts as difficult terrain, is that correct?
It is difficult terrain, and the first time, if they enter or start their turn there, they have to make a saving throw or fall prone.
Gotcha.
It's just to slow them down. And
That's the end of your turn?
Since it's I still have 15 feet of movement, but I can't get nowhere, so yes.
All right, who's next?
Ekon. Then I'll move to there. I'll redraw the wall after the turn. Or the aura. So that's movement. What's the support structure of this, like, thatched roof?
There are bracing pillars throughout the center of the long hall.
Fireball.
Right now, there's nothing flammable in the fire pit to ignite.
No, I'm aiming up at the roof.
Oh, aiming up at the roof. Sure. You can probably blow the thatch roof off this place.
I'm hoping to destroy the pillars and have the whole thing collapse, but
Well,
I'm trying to hit the
still-
pillars with the fireball.
He's trying to collapse this half of the building.
So the good news is that the building automatically fails a dex saving throw.
And fireball burns unintended objects is the other good news.
I don't know how much damage it does. Go ahead and
You want to know? Okay,
me
give me a second.
good old fireball damage.
Is there a reason you didn't just throw it outside at the crowd and kill them all?
Yeah.
He's not a genocidal maniac. He's not like us.
They're not heretics. The building clearly is.
Yeah, so I'm primarily aiming as much as I can at the support structure, like over here. We're going to be enjoying 27 fire damage.
So yeah, you hurl the fireball at the roof and blow the thatch and some of the supporting beams apart, and the whole thing catches fire. And for a moment, you hear the song outside. It doesn't stop nor subside for a bit, but they incorporate just a momentary sound of awe at it. And then
They have
continue
the world's
singing.
biggest candle to blow out now.
And
Happy fucking birthday.
Ekon is staying put there.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Victor with Orson on deck.
Alright, can Victor see this guy, or is the darkness blocking it? Do I need to move to hit him?
You could probably get an angle on him from there. I could see
Okay.
a line of sight from there.
Genie, if only you were closer. Or Evie, if only you were closer. So yeah, Victor is going to fling a wonderful aneurysm-causing psionic dagger.
Doesn't take a lot of damage to kill them. You might not need sneak attack.
First thing he's going to do, though, he's going to, for his bonus action, he's going to transfer Hunter's Mark to that dude.
Okay.
And then he's going to go, look at that, at 23.
Okay. Yeah, that'll hit.
So it'd be 9 points of psionic damage.
And she's severely bloodied, but not quite dead. Victor, moving or staying put?
He's going to move around the corner for some cover.
Hey, and who's next?
Next up is Orson with White Pawn on deck.
Orson.
That's where the
is-
fireball was for reference.
Very good.
Orson he has a necklace that has continual flame on it, so he's his own light source.
Sure.
If I recall, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 5, 10, 15.
Oh, I'm everybody's light source right now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think we have light now.
I mean, he's dashing off like 60 feet this way. He gets off the map with Tenny.
If he dashes 60 feet in that direction, he'll be crossing over the nearby path and ending up right in front of one of the family porches.
So I don't want to run in front of a house, and I don't want to go too far away, I guess.
Then
I
you've
just
got to go
want-
the entirely opposite direction.
Which way are we going, I wonder? So
Here,
what is
let
the
me show
shortest?
you.
Is this the shortest path?
Let me save this map.
Okay.
Not load this map. Burning Long Hall is what we'll call it.
It is
How did that
now.
happen?
We came, we saw, we burnt the building down.
Yeah, obviously.
Go back to immigrant.com.
Honestly,
Ekon has heard the words of air, and he said, burn it down, burn it down.
honestly expected me to be the first one to burn a building down.
We had a burning buildings, countdown in my last campaign. We burned down, we were up to 6 buildings that we had burned down.
So the Long Hall's here.
Huh?
So if you're going out this window in this
This way?
direction, there's a house here, and this road goes up, and there's this cul-de-sac, and there's farmland beyond. Turning to the left, you're headed out to the greens. The skirmish with the darkness is taking place outside this window, so you'd have to move the entirely opposite direction if you want to move away from houses. You have to move off towards where Evie and Victor just killed those 2 women.
Okay. All right.
Is that the plan?
Then I guess, yeah. We're going away from the houses and away from everybody. Okay.
All right, let me load
Thank you. Thank you for the visual aid.
the Burning Long Hall. Back up.
In that case, so he started here. 15, 20, 25.
So the intent is to get out of the village by moving away from the long hall in that
Yeah.
direction. Okay.
Orson was told to get Tinny out, and that's what he's doing. And he is moving. So this is 30 feet, and he's got another 30 feet off screen.
Okay, so Orson is effectively out of the combat then. Who's
Okay.
next?
White pawns with green pawns on deck.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me look at scroll because it's not my spell DC. It's a different one. I think it's 13, but let me double check if they're going to enter the door.
So it's a DC 13 strength save or knocked prone?
Mm-hmm.
Not Dex.
Let me see. Hold on.
Usually keeping your feet is strength. But they're not 100% consistent with it across all spells.
I think it's Dex because you're
Dex,
trying to
it's Dex.
slide. Yeah, you
It's
don't want
Dex.
to slide.
Yeah, it's 13 Dex. And they're just knock prone. It's not anything more than that. And otherwise, it's difficult terrain.
Okay. So 3 failures on that.
The intent is to just slow them down.
Otherwise, it just counts as difficult terrain. Is that correct?
Correct.
So he can get there. He can get there. And we'll say that he's one of the ones that got knocked prone. He's knocked prone. And the rest are taking a position on either side of the door. Okay.
And without any obscurement, you're only looking for a 12.
Oh, they're not firing at you. That is 2 hits. As Abernathy and Trieste each catch an arrow. So they enter the room. From the doorway, rather than try to fire into the whirlwind or try to thread this needle on the other side of this post and hit Jeannie, they just fire up into the loft. And one of the arrows goes wide, but one hits Trieste and one hits Abernathy. The good news is they have at least 1 class level, so they're not going to go down quickly.
Just saying, you could have fireballed these guys, they would all disappear, but instead you decided this building needed to die.
It's an argument you're going to
I'm
have to
still
have.
hoping the roof collapses.
He wants to make them suffer, not kill them quickly.
Is that it for the white tokens? Oh, you still
No. Evie,
Hello.
I have a 6 to hit you.
That is not going to hit even without armor.
As she steps forward, she pulls another dagger out from behind her apron, singing happy birthday as she approaches, tries to stab forward, but you definitely step out of the way. Meanwhile, Jeannie,
Jeannie.
not Jeannie, Evie.
Me?
Yeah, they can see you from that position.
Okay.
You don't have a light source, do you? No, but she had a torch.
No.
There's torches laying on the ground. Okay. That's a natural 20. That's what I'm looking for. I have 10 to hit you,
No.
and a 9,
No.
and another 10.
No. Only the 20 hits me.
10 points of piercing damage from one of the arrows as the group in front of the other window, 2 men and 2 women, you having come around the side of the darkness, they take a step back from the window, each knock an arrow and loose it at you, but only one finds purchase. And
I'd rather they shoot at me than Orson.
Orson's gone.
Okay.
and who's next?
Green tokens.
Five. $15. She can get here. As Trieste is leading her And Abernathy can hop down from the other side. The problem is Donique has to be led by the hand and is moving slowly. But they can all dash. So she can get Donique and then stand in front of her with her weapon drawn if they all dash. So, is the plan from here all to escape out this window and head off north behind the long hall?
Mm-hmm.
Killing as few villagers as possible.
So, over the course of the next 20 seconds or so, you manage to get your party out of the back window. And you're moving slowly. You're moving as quickly as you can, but Donique has to be led. Her speed's only 20. Ekon, I'm going to presume you're the last one leaving out the window. Is that correct?
Yeah, Ekon is keeping the wind barrier between his party and the villagers at all time.
But you can still see into the room, and over the course of the next few seconds, the men out in the doorway, instead of pursuing you, move over to Denny's corpse. And the last thing you see before you dive out the window yourself...
Wasn't his corpse incinerated by the fire? He's in that radius.
No, he blew his fireball up in the ceiling.
Oh.
It's not
Do I have a
buried
chance to drop a scorching ray on that corpse as I see this?
Did Scorching Ray hit objects?
It's just an attack roll.
So you're trying to burn Denny's corpse?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make that attack.
I'll say in my head, I can't hear it if I say it out loud, but I'll say the proper sacraments for cremation. I'll pull a little bit of ash out of a pinch of salt out of my bag, and I'll use it as a component to throw a scorching ray at him.
Yeah, you could Scorching Ray Denny's corpse. Wow, okay.
Okay. I mean, he's lucky I only did this once when he was alive.
He's just finishing the job.
Yep. Go ahead and take 25 fire damage on that corpse.
Yeah, sure. So they have to spend a few rounds patting out the fire before you see them dragging his corpse back out the front door of the long hall. And the rest of you, moving slowly, and you can hear the singing. You're not being pursued, but a volley or two of arrows come from that direction, from behind you.
You're mute, Destil. Acting weird.
Is that Destil's microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Sorry.
Why is it
somebody-
always Destil?
It's because I have a cable.
So you head out of the village in the middle of the night. One of your party is dead. Two more, you have no idea where Plaid and Lair went. Or if they were elsewhere in the village. Other members of your party have taken here and there to be to spend their time with other villagers, especially Lugrin, who really got to know the brewmaster very well. And the intent is to move as far away from the village as you can in the dead of night. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Back out into the wilderness.
Well, I think we're going towards the road, towards the next village to get sacrificed at.
Yeah, we do know there's a town nearby, though I'm sure they're all monsters too.
Where is
Victor will repeatedly make the comment, I told you they were going to sacrifice us.
Most of these
swear to
lenses
God,
are lies.
I swear to God, Victor, if you say Salt Magila one more time, I'm going to cover you in acid.
So we can go ahead and...
We're going to cross that town off the most happy places to live.
So let's go ahead and take our break here before we head back out into the wilderness once and for all. Go ahead, get your coffee, get your bagel. We'll reconvene here in 15 minutes.
For the record, Evie was gonna if Evie had her way, we would just kill them all and take in the village for ourselves.